Once again, good morning, everyone. I have kept this just to keep me from wandering. There's a big game tonight, and I don't want to go over. Just kidding. Friends, have you ever seen those shows? I like to see it sometimes, where someone comes in and buys an old home. And they buy it for a cheaper price. And they go in there and they have this vision. Inside the home, it's kind of old and has been ignored and needs some renovation, some transformation. The people get really excited and they start to tear down walls and all these different things. And then the final product. They show us the before, a home with a foundation that is in need of repair and renovation and transformation. And then at the end of the show, they show you the after picture. Sometimes you go, wow. Even sometimes on the personal stories. Somebody wants to lose 50, 60, or 70 pounds, and they have these before photos and the after. And you really see with your own eyes a physical transformation. My dear friends, today's reading, turning to our first reading in the gospel, that's exactly what God is doing to the prophet Isaiah and to the apostle Peter, and in many ways to Paul as well. But most important, to you sitting here. Because Isaiah said when God wanted him to transform his life, he wanted him to be a prophet. And Isaiah, like all of us, I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. I don't have my whole life in order. Peter, we heard very clearly, fell at the knees of Jesus and said, Lord, I'm a sinful man. Please leave. I'm not worthy to be in your presence after seeing such a miracle. And God said to Isaiah, to Paul, and to Peter, but most importantly, he says it to you sitting right here, that you are worthy, that you are worth God's call. But every single one of us here, like Isaiah and Peter, and like those shows, we have to allow God to come into the interior of our life and our soul and tear down all those walls that are blocking us. To allow God to just make sure that to take all the things of our life that are dated and old and haven't worked. And just like those architects and contractors, they have this vision and they see something that you can't see. God saw something in Isaiah and Peter, and he says that you, Peter, will be the very first pope of the church. You, Peter, with all your sinfulness and all your weaknesses. And Isaiah, I'm going to use you, transform your interior life, and you are going to be my voice. You are going to be the rock with which I build this church that we're here at St. Mel's. What does that say and mean for us? Friends, we have to be open to allow God into the interior of our life, to tear down the walls of insecurity, to tear down the walls of fear, to rearrange all the things that don't work, not to condemn us, but to make our life, like those homes, beautiful. A whole new way that you might not see in your own life. And the same thing with Paul. He persecuted the church. And now he says the very thing, and this is the line that maybe when you find yourself afraid or alone, he said, stand firm and hold fast. Hold fast to the teachings of Jesus. When you're scared, when you're all alone, when you're not sure about what's happening, but you know some transformation, some renovation in our heart and soul needs to take place, be willing, be open, and allow God to transform your interior life. Because God is saying to you, sitting right here, you are worthy of this. That He wants to use you to manifest His love. Sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes over time, like these homes, they fall into disrepair, sin, addiction, whatever it may be that we struggle with. But God is patient. God is loving. And He wants to remake the interior of our life for what? For what? And I think the gospel reading, friends, is the answer. Just in your own mind's eye, think about it for a moment and visualize it. The boat that Peter is in is a metaphor for his soul. The waters that surround him is the metaphor for life. Sometimes they're stormy and sometimes they're choppy. But what's the key to this transformation and renovation? Peter invites Jesus into his boat. He doesn't say no. He doesn't row out farther. But he allows Jesus to enter into his boat, and then he's open. Peter, I know you've been working so hard and fishing all this time, and you've caught nothing but trust. Trust me that if you put your nets deeper into the waters, not the surface of life, but something deeper, there will be this abundance of God's grace, an abundance of God's joy, an abundance of what God has in store for you and for me. So the choice is ours. Do we trust and do we allow Jesus into the boat of your heart and soul? And when He's there and He says, cast a little bit deeper into your life, trust me, you will be filled with tremendous blessings. It's called Duc in Ultum. It's in Latin. Put into the deep. So my friends, on this Super Bowl Sunday, this time of gathering together, put into your own life your joy and your trust in the good Lord. Because when you do, He will give you the joy that you're really looking for. And you will see the beauty of your soul and your heart transformed into this new life. If you trust, you believe, and you hold firm to Christ, you will see His glory.